Good evening, good afternoon. There's no mornings here, are there? Don't think. Hello, happy Sunday. Hi. Let me know in the chat how you are. 1 to 5. 1, it's Sunday. I wish it was Friday. And 5, I am raring to go. I am roaring and raring. Let me know. And anyway, oh, a 5. Starting off strong. Oh, pancakes. Amazing. Amazing. It's amazing, isn't it, really, how we can also fluctuate in a day. You might be a 5 now, you might have been at a 2 an hour ago. Um, I find it fascinating, the human condition. You've got a lot to catch up on from this past week. It is okay. Well, I have kept this as simple and as clean as possible for you to get as much impact with just like 10 minutes a day as possible. So before we start, I would love to know what your relationship with coherence, how that's changed. Because at the beginning of the week, you might have been like, the coherence codes, I do not understand. What is this? What is this? I would love to know now, what does coherence mean for you, or living in coherence? Just pop a line, a sentence, a word, a realization in the chat for me, please. I'm living in my truth. Lovely. I'm waiting for you all. And just sit there and look at me. I'm looking gorgeous. You can take yourself off mute if you'd prefer. We're only a small group so far tonight. What has coherence? What does it mean to you now? Living in balance and trusting, aligning with how I'm feeling inside with my outside, doing the things that are pulling on my energy. Amazing. Being in control more and balance. Amazing. Well, thank you, because it was an interesting journey for me when the coherence codes started to develop through me. And this is really how I do my work, is I've learned to ask really good questions. And then I await for spirit, for my team, my higher self, my brain, all of the things to come online and to start to provide me with the answers. Um, and what I realized is that we are all coherent to something, or at least we are all guided by something. But it seems that regularly the human condition is that we are not always guided by the highest aspect of us. And quite often, when we have that inner battle, and I hear that a lot, that I have this inner turmoil, that I have a part of me wanting to do this and a part of me wanting to do that, right? Or I set an agenda and then I get so far, or I start it and then and then something gets in the way, or my sabotage comes up, or my imposter syndrome comes up, or something starts to happen, and we feel like we're in this constant state of battle, of being to and fro, of not knowing where I am. And there's a few things going on here. One, we're either coherent to the wrong place. So we're coherent to our patternings. So our patternings are the parts of us that we're used to. They're the things that we have done over and over and over again. They're our conditions. They're the things that we've had programmed into us. And from a psychological point of view, it's literally where the strongest pathways are in our brain. Yeah. A happens, and then this stream of consciousness begins that takes us to B, C, D, and E. Yeah. And this is our default. This is our unconscious. And maybe you've heard that 90, some people say 96, some people say 80 something percent of our consciousness is driven by our unconscious. We heard this? That's that. That's this programming. That's the stuff. That's the default. That's the thing that gets us to our place of work, driving along, and we're like, how did I get here? Yeah. So it's helpful, but also not always helpful. The second part is our body. We start to become reliant upon our body signals, which is great because I think we should all become embodied. However, our body is wired for safety. Our body is wired for, this is what was. This is what's going to keep me here. This is my instinct, if you like. This is the part of me that goes, well, I want to survive another day. And who wants to survive another day? We all do, right? So again, it's not wrong, but it's been conditioned by the programming, by the patterns, by the conditioning to be like, oh, okay, this is how we do things around here. Now, I'm going to give you some really good news about the battle thing, right? If you are just coherent with one of those things, so we're just reliant on our conditioning and we're like, it's fine, this is all good, I'm just going to be conditioned, right? And there's no inner turmoil, then amazing. If you're just in with your body and there's no inner turmoil, amazing. But if you're in either of those and you're feeling some inner turmoil, here's the good news. That inner turmoil is something that could be your soul, right? That could be your guides, that could be your direction that's telling you there's something more. Like this feeling of isn't anything to do with being broken. This feeling is, I know I'm here for something more. This feeling is, I know that there is a repatterning that wants to happen. This condition, this feeling is this is where we were, and now I'm ready to evolve. But those parts of you that are conditioned, those parts of you, those neural pathways, the parts in your body, the aspect of us that's trying to keep us safe, the truth for me is it doesn't know what to do. And so of course it's going to panic when we're like, well, let's go and do the thing, let's go and create the business, let's go and start doing readings, let's go and have this conversation with somebody, let's go and change the way we parent, let's go and move house, let's go and like whatever it is, like the big moves that you want to do, or even the small, I'm going to change my identity, I'm going to change how I eat, I'm going to change how I move my body, I'm going to change how I speak, I'm going to change the way that I spend my evenings, right? These little things are us, they're so ingrained in us that it's only when something comes in that wants to change that we start to feel this resistance, we start to feel this turmoil. Yeah. So yay to the turmoil. Can we find some gratitude for it? Can we claim we can, right? Because it's like, okay, you're pushing me into something more. And what my job is here is to help you not, you'll be pleased to know, fully come into like, oh my God, I'm ungrounded and I'm like in this space more the whole time, but really cultivating this sense of trust that we are moving in the right direction, that we begin to learn what these different signals are, that we start to, as we began to understand this week, and we looked back, those of you who did the day 2 task, as we looked back and went, okay, these were the decisions that I made this year. This was where it came from. These were the ones that I allowed myself to continue. These were the ones that I, put aside, forgot about, got distracted with, whatever. And the reasonings, or the drivers, if you like, that sat behind that. What my job is, and what we do in soul space and in my mentorship, is really beginning to change the weighting, if you like, of where am I drawing my inspiration from, where am I making my decisions from, how do I know the difference between what my soul is telling me to do with what my fear is trying to communicate with me, with what my body's doing and my nervous system is doing, so that we can create all of that into coherence. So our soul is in the driving seat, our body becomes regulated enough that we can listen to the soul and to its journey. And so that my mind now comes to respond. So it's open and ready to create these new neural pathways so that they're not like a big shock to the system every time we do something new. And then it becomes the journey of, well, this is who I'm becoming. Not this is who I was, not this is who I am, but this is who I'm becoming. This is who I'm forever evolving into. And I trust myself. And I can choose to let my human be in charge, sure. But at least I know that, like yesterday, I don't know what it was. I think I'm going to blame the moon. I'm going to blame hormones, right? But yesterday I was like, I just want to be in one of those, like, chill out, like, not do anything, eat the rubbish. I said, oh, that's where I want to be. Like, and I've, like, as I shared yesterday, like, I've been logging on my food, I've been doing all that. I still did all of that. But I was like, and my chat was saying to me, oh, well, don't eat this and have it that. And I was like, do you know what? Like, this is what I want to do today. And I knew it wasn't coming from, like the fitness aspect of me. And I knew it wasn't necessarily coming from my highest aspects of me, but it was like, well, I'm going to honor that because there's a part of me that wants it. And then what that actually did is it stopped me spiraling into, well, I've had 3 biscuits, so I might as well have 25. Oh, we've all been there, right? It stopped me. I was like, well, I'm going to eat this, whatever it was, this slice of pizza. And I'm like, well, actually, I'm just going to eat this soup first so I don't, and my whole dinner isn't pizza. Now, none of this was, oh, I'd better. It was just because I'm like, okay, well, this is coming. Now, how do I best support myself? It become my habits, my neural pathways are like, have been updated enough that I know that I'm going to get comfort from feeling good in my body. I know that I'm going to get comfort from knowing that I've looked after myself. And I can bring that in with the dopamine hit that comes from the chocolate digestive that I haven't eaten for months. And I'm like, what's so good, right? So for me, it's not about kind of like batting these parts out of the way, but it's about really understanding how we come into this space of coherence, this space of alignment. So I'm going to remind you what we did. Oh, let me just read Julie's comment. I've been working on the physical and lost 75 pounds. It's amazing. Now the spiritual is where I want to work next. And this is the thing, like Julie, I had a really similar but probably opposite experience. So quite a few years ago, now, when was it? Yeah, so after I had Kobe. So it was around 2017-ish, 2018. Those years I spent so long like in the spiritual, right? I was just like, I want to know everything. Like, you think I'm like learning a lot now, then I was on this like rapid, Jill, this is probably when we met, right? I was on this like rapid, I want to know everything, and I was like a sponge and I was absorbing everything. So I'd spent the years before really working on my mental body, right? I'd spent a lot of time like studying. I'd done like my NLP training, like my life coaching, like literally reading everything. And I was doing a lot of like mental work in the spiritual space, right? And then I was like, oh, hold on, now I really want to start working on my spirituality. And again, I was, so mind spirit was all like absorbed in this, and my thing was, I'm going to absorb everything that I can. And what started to happen is I completely ignored my body, and I was getting heavier and heavier. And the reason I think I was getting heavier was, one, because I wasn't grounded, so my body was going, hey mate, we need to be here in the physical, we need to be here. And I realized it was actually, I was at this Ayurvedic course. Told you I want to learn everything. And like, we were talking a lot about the body. And I was like, I see what's been happening here. I've been in my mind, I've been in my energy, and I've completely ignored my body. And it was that realization that made me then kind of click back in and start to change that. And I think we go through cycles, but for me, I think this is really why coherence comes in, because I see a lot of spiritual teachings which talk about the energy. I hear and have been in a lot of spiritual courses which talk a lot about the theory. And I've even been in somatic and, body and yoga classes and all of this that speak more about the physical body. But actually, we're humans and we're having this spiritual experience. And the most important thing that we can do is bring everything into alignment and really begin to understand which one is leading the way. Our brain, our beautiful, amazing, incredible, wise, intellectual brain, was never meant to do it on its own. Our body was never meant to do it on its own. Our body, I think, was there to serve as this vessel for the experiences that we're going to have. Our mind was there to help us rationalize and conceptualize the experiences that we're having and to find the language. And our soul is here to help us grow. And I think that we've spent far too long putting our brain in charge, putting our strategy in charge. And so that's why we've been feeling so wonky, because our soul can't do it without our human being online. Our soul will just be there. It will give us messages. It's never going to leave us alone. And whilst our body is so overwhelmed, whilst our mind is so busy, it's never going to find the answers, right? Because it's like we're just, how am I going to say this? It's like they're giving me this image of like a ice cap. Where are we going with this? So what they're showing me is it's like there's this big ice cap where we're trying to chisel, like we're climbing up there going, give me the information, give me the flow. And we're up there going, right, I'm just gonna click, I'm gonna chink it off and it's gonna start to come down. And then maybe I'll catch one of the little pieces of ice which will serve the to answer the question that I'm asking. Yes. And so we're up there trying to find it. Where actually, when spirituality or this kind of soul-led living becomes our baseline, we sit in the flow of this wisdom. We sit in the flow of this energy. And so then we're simply there. And the answer comes. Yeah. Rather than having to climb up and chisel, micromanage, and find it, it's in there. Right? We're just there. We ask the questions. Spirituality isn't separate from us. But I just feel like there's this I don't know, separation, we could say, that spirituality can bring us. So the strategy that I feel is the way forward. Is the soul as the strategy. Yeah. And how we do it is what we've been doing this week. We start off, we tune in. What is it that I need? What is it that I'm working on? What is it that's important for me right now? And or where am I finding myself in this moment? Because where you are in the moment isn't like surprise. Yeah. It's a culmination of everything that we've been. It's a culmination of all of the choices that we've made. It's a culmination of what we've allowed ourselves to be. And so where we are right now isn't broken. Where we are right now isn't a mistake. Where we are right now is a real snapshot of what it was. So that's what we've been doing this week, is looking at what gets us here. From now moving forward, we take that as our everyday. What am I wanting to achieve this week? Where is it that I'm moving towards now? How is my I don't know, how, like, we've got Christmas coming up. What am I working on through Christmas? What's important for me on Christmas Day? Me being right, or the energy, being beautiful and flowing. Yeah, we start to tune in. We ask, like, what is it? What is it that I need? What does my soul want me right to do right now? And the question that I gave you was, if soul was leading the way, where would it bring me? And actually, I'd love to know that from you, because that was a question that I asked this week. And if you didn't ask it, you can ask yourself this now. If my soul was in charge for me this week, where would it lead me? Pop it in the chat, all of you. My soul was in charge this week, where would it lead me? And you don't need to know how you know, just write the first thing that it says. My soul was leading me this week, Sunday night. Where would it lead me to? What would it have me do? What would my soul have me do? And it could be big or small. I've been working on clearing out paperwork. My soul has kept me on track. Soul is very pragmatic. And sometimes it's that. Sometimes it really is tidy up, stick to the plans we've made, get organized. This job is long, long. Yeah. But even then, like, the soul isn't going to be like, right, get it all organized now. But it might say to you, start here, pick up this box, even get organized. Really ask it, what is it? Where do I begin? Where do I start? We have a deadline. More into my practice and following my gut instead of staying safe. Okay, I'm going to do this with you now because I think some of us are still in our heads a little bit. Okay. So I just want you to come in and I just want you to bring your hand somewhere which it feels like a really nice anchor in the body. For me right now, it's what was the right hand on my chest and left hand on my belly. And just breathe into that. Just breathe in. Get yourself present, get yourself here, feel the hand resting on the body. And I just want you to imagine whatever you know to be your soul, okay, that aspect of you. So it might be a version of you, but it might be a color, it might be a little stick man. So just imagine your soul, your highest version of you coming in and taking a seat beside you. Just imagine that. They're coming in, they take a seat beside you and they look at you. And they look at you as you are right here in this chair, listening to this call. And I just want you to make that like heart to heart, eye to eye, head to head contact. And just say, soul, thank you for being here by my side. It feels so good to know that you're guiding me. I'm not expecting you to sort my whole life out right now. But I'm wondering if you had one piece of advice for me right now, what would it be? And I'm going to invite you to start writing or typing. You can pop it in the chat. Don't get in your heads. Just write, just chat. Tell me what they say. Relax. You've got everything under control. You've got this. You know what we've spoken about. 2026 is your year. We've already started the plan now. Just keep checking in and taking the next step. Take the opportunity that's been given to me. Can you see how different they are when you tune in and really ask? Right? To just get organized. Yeah. There's a softening. You can hear it. If you read that back to you, what you've just written, and read it out loud back to you, you will feel that that is even if though they're saying the same thing. So like Janie's, it's the same thing. You know what we spoke about, 2026 is your year, and we've already started the plan, as opposed to stick to the plans we've made. Can you feel the difference between the two? It's subtle, but it's there. And I can see that from like how you've typed it. I say I can see it. I can feel it. Like there's a resonance there. It's coming from somewhere different. And even though sometimes they're saying the same thing, my job is to help you get very good at where's this really coming from, to remind you to keep tuning in. Yeah. Take this opportunity that's been given to me. That's a clear command, as opposed to, you know, umming and ahhing and negotiating with our minds. Okay. Relax. You've got everything under control. There's no need to panic. That's very different from we've got a deadline. It's a 9-year. Yeah, like we've started it. We're beginning. We're moving. Things are already feeling clearer. And, you know, as we start to create new steps, like we realize that we've had these habits that have been ingrained in us. And like, what have we heard about habits, right? That they take 21 days or 90 days or like whatever, and we need all of these things, which is true. And when we find a better strategy, it can be that easy. Like, for example, if I said to you, I don't know, like let's give my laptop as an example. So I bought a MacBook like 2 years ago. I still don't know how I'm using it. And I would be like I figured it out. I did very well, figured it all out by myself. And I, find my ways around doing things. And then a few weeks, and that's how I did things. And it became second nature. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but it works and it's great. Fabulous. And then a few weeks ago, I was on chat and I was like, I've got a MacBook. Can you give me like 3 hacks that I didn't know were there, which will help make my life easier when I'm trying to search for or whatever? And it went, yes, all you need to do is press Control Command 3 and it brings this thing up and then you can find it. And I was like, that's amazing. Do you know how many times I went back to the old strategy of clicking, finding, driving myself mad? 0. Do you know why? Because this was like, oh, obviously, I've got a new strategy. I've got a new way of doing things. It was easy. It worked. It's taking me a third of the time. Why would I keep coming back to this? It was something like it was so easy and so obvious, right? And if I ever do find myself going and doing that, then I've got this new strategy that's here. So it didn't take me 21 days, didn't take me 3 weeks in a hypnotherapy track. It literally took this new information and then doing it 3 or 4 times so that I knew that it was Control Command 3 rather than something different, right? For me to remember it. A new strategy can be installed very easily when we know it helps us, when it's easy to bring in. Like if you were driving to work and it took you 3 hours to drive to work and I went, there's a new road that's just opened, you just turn off there, you'd be like, oh cool. You wouldn't keep doing the old route, you'd go through the new one, right? So sometimes all that takes is this new piece of information. And then it will start to create these new neural pathways. So, number one, we tune in, we ask. Number two is we come into alignment. We start to realize, is this something that is soul led? Is this clearing my closet something that is coming from this greater part of me, or is it a distraction because I don't want to be getting on with my work because that feels like it's too big, right? Same thing, different answers. So we start to realize, where is it actually coming from? We ask and we align to that. And if soul um has a greater job, do you remember in the channel they're like, just give everything to the soul, whatever comes through, just give it, and then see what else comes in. It's not instead of our intellect, it's not instead of our body, but it's as well as, because you will always get this higher piece of information. So step two is we ask, we align. And then we start to feel into what our body's doing. Because this gives us this incredible source of information of, is there something outdated in my body that needs healing, that my nervous system can't handle, that's going to come up and sabotage me because I feel like I'm unsafe? So this is great information. This is how we move, how we evolve. We'll understand if our body is energized enough or not, if it's resourced enough or not. And if the answer is or not, well, then what do I need to do now? Because your soul's never going to give you anything that is beyond you. Yeah. I was in a coaching call, in my VIP coaching call last week, and one of my members, she has a lot of health issues, and we were talking about, well, like like she's got such a mission, but her body doesn't always let her do the things that she wants to do. But actually, when we really tuned in and we really asked and we looked at the body's way of helping, like, this kind of work isn't really her superpower. She works really well with having space and having time. And so her soul was going, you need to slow down because it's going to bring a greater experience to your clients. But we had to bring it all in and bring it all together. Yeah, the soul is not going to give us something that we can't do. And sometimes we get some more information from that. Yes, we bring in our body. And then we understand the S, the soulless strategy. Now my soul is in charge. We kind of come backwards through the tabs. Where does my body, what else do I need? How else do I resource? What am I doing anyway? What further information do I want? How do I keep tuning in? And so it keeps repeating. It keeps on building upon itself, so that we're always tuned in. We're always aware of what our body's doing. And rather than defaulting back to my mind and my programmings, the mind-led coherence, which is about logic, often about fear, often about overthinking, often about, how much more information can I have, which is often about outsourcing. This is when we tend to kind of lose our power. Or coming in through our body, which is really about our nervous system and our patternings and our programmings and what we're used to and staying in the same place. Or our soul, which moves into inner truth, which moves into purpose, which moves into mission. And that's constantly on as a dialogue all of the time. Sounds exhausting, but how many of us have a constant dialogue going on in our heads anyway, and a constant thing going on in our body? Right, we do. And it's not helpful. But if I said to you, I've got a magic wand, which I do, but I can't get it. Let's use this one. I've got this one, this wand. I said, I've got a magic wand. And all that worry, all your worry, I can take all of your worries away. Would you want me to wave the wand? let's say 1 0 is like no zero worries, 100 is like all the worries, and my magic wand can dial it up or down. Pop in the chat how much of your worries, your anxieties, your like overthinking brain, um your nervous system, kind of like all of these resources, how much would you want me to turn it to? So 0, there's none. 100, it's like all of it. Pop it in the chat. Janie, you want all the worries still there? Other way, 0. We need it, 30. See, now this is really interesting, right? Because like, what does worry do? Like, does it help you think more clearly? Like, no, it doesn't really. Right? Does it does it actually save you from anything? You misunderstood the question. So 0, I can take all your worries away. 100, you've got everything, got all the worries still there. And I don't know where you are in the mind now, but it's interesting that we often think that worry is important, that I need some of it. It motivates me. It helps me pay my tax bill. It stops me from living in squalor. It makes me turn up and fulfill my promises. But right, it doesn't really it blocks our thoughts. Really, it is that man on the with the chisel going, hold on, let me find the right thing. Because when we are in flow, when our soul is in charge and everything's online, actually what happens is we're like, okay, what's my best choice? This isn't turning down all danger signals, because that's something different. Danger signals are important, and we see it in babies. What do they say? Loud noise and fear of falling, like are the two instinctual fears that we have, and everything else is learned. But it's helpful to know that if I'm going to cross the road, that big metal thing will probably hurt me. But worry doesn't help, does it? This is having that knowing, this is having that experience that this isn't what I want. You're about to go on stage to do a talk like this, so I speak to my son about, who, he performs, and this subtlety, the amount of people that say to him, oh, weren't you worried, weren't you scared? And he's like, no, because he doesn't see it that way. He sees it, or he feels it as a sensation. He certainly gets probably what most of us will call nerves, but he's not afraid of the way that feels. He's not worried about that. He's using that. And this is what I learned to do, because I definitely had a fear of public speaking. I learned to use those nerves and that kind of that sensation, right? What is it? Butterflies in the stomach, that feeling like of the root chakra, like maybe a bit nervous, like the voice. You start speaking from up here. As I felt those bodily sensations, and I'm like, okay, tuning in, asking what I need, checking with my body, what does my soul want? My soul's saying to me, this is really important, Melissa. My body's saying to me, you're not prepared. You need to drop down into your base. You need to bring your breath into your belly. Yeah. My mind might be saying, well, you're not quite prepared. It's like, okay, let's get my notes together. Let's get all that ready. Right? So that I'm still in alignment, but the worry's not really helping. It's well, what is it that I want? The ask and align. What is it that I want? What's my reason for doing this? Well, I want to give the best performance. I want to make sure my voice, if I was singing, I want to make sure my voice is well. I want to make sure that I have enough breath. I want to make sure I know all the words to the song. But worrying about it doesn't really help. Worrying about it actually just brings you out of the body, brings you into the brain, and then starts to make you think, oh, hold on, maybe I should, and then we do the weird things that we do. We drop back in, we trust, we align, we let it all move. You get it now. Um, it's not unusual for people to say, I want to keep about 30% of my worry. That's what most people say, because we think that it's a motivator and a drive. Personally, I would rather that my soul was the motivator and the drive than my worry, right? So this is what we're doing. It brings us out from being led by survival to being led by soul. Survival is not a strategy for growth. But what if you can't find your motivation? Not worry, just nothing. This is a great question, Julie, because what I found is that when you're truly like, what do I mean by being led by soul? The soul is here for adventure. The soul is here for growth. The soul is here to be like, we have got this one human life that we're having right now. Here is the thread. Here is the thing. And here are all of the things that we would love to experience, that we'd love to achieve, that we'd love to move through, that we'd love to learn, right? There's an adventure awaiting for us. And our soul's job is to create the circumstances, if you like, for those things to unfold so that we learn and grow, so that we expand. Like for me, like our sole purpose is know yourself and grow yourself. Like that's it. Okay. And so for me, my soul will give me this mission, this wise part of me, this purpose, right? This energy that wants me to grow will give me suggestions of run this class, go and do this studying thing, create the coherence codes, start channeling on your page to everybody. That'll be fun, Melissa, right? So it gives me these things to do, which more often than not, my body goes, oh, I don't feel ready. Right. But the motivation is inherent in the soul because because the information that comes from the guidance that comes from this is so aligned with me that it holds an energetic frequency that's going to pull me forward. I don't need to self-motivate. I don't need the advertising department to start telling me how important this is. I'm just like, I know that this is good for me, right? Like you don't need an advert to tell you to eat an apple. You know an apple's good for you, right? You need an advert to tell you to drink Coca-Cola, which you know isn't good for you, right? So I don't need the motivation. It's there. There's a life force. That's what it is. There's a life force energy. When we're just running through like mind-led or body-led, this is where we need to self-motivate. This is where we need to start to develop these strategies that are like making us get through it. Because there's this kind of like it's coming from the human and it's being executed by the human, and the human has finite resources. The soul does not. The soul comes from the space of infinite resource, and so motivation becomes a thing. Like I speak about the choiceless path. When we're running from mind led or from body led, everything becomes choices, decisions. Well, I can do this, but that means I can't do that. But if I do this, then this will happen. And if I do this, then this will happen. When we're coming from this soul strategy, when we are literally being infused by life force all of the time, the motivation is natural. Sure, sometimes we just want to sit and watch Netflix. Yes, and it's fine. Like it's not like I'm going to be like a Duracell bunny that's just going to keep on going all the time. Because again, our soul doesn't. But like yesterday, I literally had yet I was like useless yesterday, but it was nourishing. It was like it was good. I got, I was with my kids and I like did the other thing. So essentially, I'm not being soul led but body led because I thought that's where motivation comes from. Um, maybe the majority, yes. This soul led is, when you're in the zone. Have you ever been in the zone? Right, and you start doing something, you start doing your stitching, and then suddenly 3 hours have gone past, and you're like, what? Yeah, you're in the zone. You don't need fuel. You don't need the clock to keep chiming and the chocolate drops to come in to motivate you through it. You're just there and you do it and it becomes choiceless. Of course I'm gonna put the next stitch here because that's where I'm being guided. Again, it's not a booming voice in the sky going, now do an X over here. It's just like, oh, I just feel the stroke wants to go there, this wants to happen. I'm in the zone, I'm in the flow, I'm in this infinite well, and I am so in alignment to it that my body and my mind are all shooting into the same laser beam, right? Yes, sometimes we need to, like I'm writing a manual. It's not that fun to write a manual, but I know I am so fueled by the mission of what I'm creating that it forms just part of, well, this is what I'm doing now. I was doing it earlier before I came on here, I was working on it. Not like, oh, I better go and do it, but like I've got this thing that's moving through me. And yes, I needed, again, it's not my admin's not my favorite thing in the world. But I have this energy moving through me, which makes it more palatable. It makes it more easy. This is coherence. And this is coherence with the soul, with this infinite wisdom, with this thing that's pulling you forward and through. Yeah. What's interesting for me is when I ask people what they want, and maybe you can tell me like what you want. We think we want confidence, clarity, peace. Pop it in there. What do you want? How do you feel? Like, I don't know, maybe you had a word for this year. You can tell me what your word was for this year or what you're playing with for next year. Like, what's the thing that you want to feel, to be, to hold in? Confidence, clarity, manifestation, intuition, freedom, money, right? There's these things that we're like, well, this is what I want. But actually, what I've realized, clarity, peace, freedom, to speak out more, right? Expression, yeah. Intuition, listening, acting. Really, all of those come as a natural consequence to having coherence. Like, really, that's what we want. Because when the soul's in charge, we don't have to question every decision. Yeah. When the soul's in charge, we learn to listen and then to act. Because why would I get given this information if it wasn't for me to act upon? When we're aligned with soul and we're in coherence, we don't need to negotiate with our fear anymore. I've noticed recently, I speak a lot about I move in the direction of my fears. Like that's been my journey this year, really to just be like, all right, I hear you, I feel this resistance. There's a training in the Soul Space dashboard called the Law of Three, which is all about resistance, right? And I've realized really over the last few weeks that my experience with fear is changing. Like I'm no longer negotiating with it. I'm like, hey, I see you. What are you here to teach me? Hey, I see you. Where are you showing me I'm not prepared yet? Hey, I see you. Whoop, are you come along for this adventure? Because those parts of me that feel scared were never meant to do it alone. It's bringing in that wisdom. It's bringing in that cultivation. It's working with my spirit board and going, hey, I'm not doing this alone. right? So that your yeses become really clean, your no's become really clean, and your path becomes choiceless. Your path becomes, well, this is just what I'm doing. If money and freedom, if intuition and action, if expression, if clarity, if peace and freedom are all part of your path, your soul will lead you and guide you there. But it won't guide you there when we're just coming from this space, which is what we've been taught to do. And it won't guide us if our nervous system is going wild because it's so overwhelmed with all the other things that we should be doing. It's this cultivation of, who am I? How do I serve? What do I become? How am I making my choices every day? This just wants to come in right now. One of the reasons why decisions are so hard is because I don't think decisions are natural. What I mean by that is decisions are rooted in lack. Even the word decision, yeah, like it means to cut off. Yeah, I'm like, it's like an incision. Yeah, I'm cutting this. It's like now it's like, well, I have that, but I can't have this. And so it's not natural in the way that if we live in an abundant world, decision is rooted in lack. And so we find it hard. We're like, oh, this is too much. When we're coming from this space of soul, we're coming from this space of abundance. We know that there is no lack. We know that something's going to keep on moving forward for me. And so it becomes a choice, which doesn't that just feel more? I'm choosing me. My word, what were we 2025? My word for 2024 was choose. It was a great word. Because every time I was doing something and I was in yoga, like I'm dying, I was like, no, I chose to be here. This was my choice. I'm here. And I'm either going to choose to continue or I'm going to choose to leave. It's always my choice. Right? And so choosing is a very different frequency to decision. And when we come from this space of knowing, when we come from, like I was saying to Julie, this space of I am being led and I'm being guided, I don't need to choose anymore. I listen and I act. I receive and I do. And I keep on becoming. That makes sense? That feel good? It's a big difference. And it's easy. As long as we keep getting reminded and as long as we keep the practice and as long as we keep doing it. So this next 9 years, no small potatoes here. This next 9 years, is this the choice that we're going to create for ourselves? Because whatever we're doing now and the choices and the alignment that we're making now, even as we begin, you're not meant to have it all figured out for the next 9 years now. Now it's like, what am I stepping into? What am I choosing? What am I aligning to? And how am I bringing it all along? Because what I see in the spiritual space, what I see with all the practices, what I see in the psychotherapeutic work, what I see in like all of this, everything that I'm seeing is that now we're being invited to come back into wholeness. And really it's us, it's the conscious people, it's the people who have this desire to make a difference in the world, to create impact, to do something that goes beyond us, that are the ones that are really going to be making a difference over the next 9 years. In a world of AI, where intelligence, where in the next year, we are not going to be the most intelligent people on the planet. And that's the truth. There is so much information, even since I've been using AI, which has only been a year or so, even the last few months, the way that it's increasing is rapid. And so that it's becoming our time now. It's no longer about what clever words can I write. It's no longer about what information can I give you. It's no longer about what's the most efficient strategy, right, of doing this thing. It's about having the one thing that artificial intelligence doesn't have, which is a soul, which is consciousness, which is this divine intelligence. It has a depth to it. It's a wisdom that goes beyond intelligence. And I see that consciousness could grow rapidly as long as we're willing and allow, as long as we don't keep outsourcing, as long as we're using AI, if we're using it for refinement rather than for guiding us. Yeah, just let our soul lead the way. I'm just wondering, has anyone here, just give me a show of hands or a one in the chat, has anyone ever like asked AI to do any like psychic stuff for them, or like had something like I once popped in there because I got an email and it said that the Akashic records can read your sorry, the AI can read your Akashic records. Someone had created this chat thing and you could put it all in there, and I was like, so I went in there and I went, okay, let's see what happens. And I put it in. I was like, give me my past life stuff. And you know what? He gave me some really great information. It told me everything that I wanted to know. It told me that I was a witch and that I was persecuted and that all of this stuff. And I'm like, it sounded great, but there was no depth to it. There was none of the goosebumps. Right, there was not, like, it knows me, it knows what I want to hear, right, it knows what people like me want to hear, and it gave me all of that. But there was nothing, there was no substance, maybe is the right word, in there. It was just information that meant nothing. Now's our time, because AI can't tap into that. If you were there at the channeling, I'm not expecting all of you to become, channels of like in that way, but in our way of bringing through this divine intelligence, in our way of bringing through this higher wisdom. This is where the world is going. This is where what I see as the next level of like success, happiness, contentment, satisfaction, that sense of freedom is when we are aligned with that and we let that guide us rather than trying to like be the most clever person in the room. Personality types, but not psychic stuff. Like, it's quite interesting. You can even get it to read your cards. I pulled this card, tell me what it means, and it will give you some great information, and you begin to feel where that disconnect is, and this is where we come in, because AI can't do it. I do wonder if Spirit will start using AI more. Spirit are very clever. But again, it takes us to ask the good questions and to have that discernment. I asked my HD type and it was all wrong. It I think AI is amazing. And I think that the opportunities that we as humans have now is amazing. It's just, where are we willing to outsource it and where are we not? And what I'm not willing to outsource is my consciousness. And so the more I bring that in and the more I let that guide me, the further I get, the better the impacts and the inspiration I have. Had a guide with me all my life. Could it be my soul? It's interesting when we talk about guides. I have a bit of a different take on it than some people. I do see our guidance team as all part of our consciousness. I don't necessarily see them as separate, because there is no separation. And they have their own facets and their own personality. Yeah. Guides is a massive conversation. And as humans, we find it really helpful to have particular guides, and we can, connect with them and talk with them and ask them questions. Um, but if you pushed me nitty gritty, I say that it's all part of the same consciousness. I've got there's a call in soul space called the Spirit Boardroom, and it's so good. It's one of my favorite ones. It's one of the OG ones from back in the day, where we talk about creating our own spiritual boardroom with our masters and our guides and whatever. So, what did I want to say? Um, mm, mm, mm. Yes. One thing when we're speaking about, I think the next step with coherence that we're speaking about is once we get the soul online, is then starting to really understand this aspect of co-creation. Where is it that I'm moving to? I wonder who feels like the future is like destined. So I'm moving to a future that's already destined. Give me a 1. Give me a 2 if you're like, no, it's all just created. I'll know where we are. So 1, destined, and I'm moving towards a destiny or a fate. 2 is, no, don't believe in any of that. I'm just creating my own amazing things. We are split. Good. Because I think it's both. I think it's both. I think that have you ever heard me talk about the difference between fate and destiny? There's a difference. I don't know. Okay. For me, fate is that unconscious. Yeah. For me, fate is that I am led by the bit below the iceberg. Right. I'm led by my patterns. I'm led by my conditions. I'm led by my body. I'm led by my nervous system. And these are the things that are going to happen to me. And at any point, I have a choice to become awake within that. Right. Destiny is when I am awake within that and I'm choosing new, I'm choosing more, I'm choosing beyond. This is what I grew up with, and now this is what I learned, and now this is the life. You know, when you hear of people, you know, they were the first ones to go to university, or they were the first ones to like whatever, right? This is them taking their fate and moving it into destiny. I'm making conscious choices all of the time, right? And then so this is the second part. Once we've got our soul online, I think that we then begin to merge with, what am I destined for? Yeah. What am I destined for? How do I know what I'm destined for? Well, what are the desires that I have within me? What are the things that are always calling me? What's the greatness that if I had no restrictions, what's the greatness that I would step into? If everything was always working out in my favor, what would I become? If I didn't have any fears or worries, what would I do tomorrow? This is destiny. This is what we know. And when we align that with our actions, when we align that with our intentions, when we align that with our desires, well, then we co-create. Then we begin to create our future, which I do believe we do. I think the law of attraction definitely is a phenomenon that occurs. Can I create anything? Probably. But why do I not just create the thing that's aligned to me? Why don't I just create the thing that I really, really want? Why don't I just become the thing that my soul, remember the definition we gave of it, this infinite flow of life force energy that goes beyond my motivation, that goes beyond what I think is possible for me, but that I tap into and it becomes inevitable. If I line all that up together, we're laughing. We're going to do a future self thing in a minute. I would love to know if you were acting in the way that I just said, destiny, based on all the desires, all the things, right? Without any limitations and without any lack. What do you think between you and your soul you'd create in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Don't care. Big picture, small picture, pop it in the chat. If you and your soul were on the same page, you had that infinite flow of motivation, what would you create? I want some specificity, please, Jamie. Be where you want to live. Southern California. So if you were living in alignment with your soul, Southern California would be where you'd be. Amazing. Business success and no more big worries. So I want you to start getting specific with that, because business success can mean anything. Like, what are you doing and who are you doing it with? What money are you making? How is that coming in? Are you still teaching? Again, you don't have to put this all in here, but if your soul and you were creating on the same timeline, I want to hit consistent 8K plus months. And we keep going into the why. Freedom to be and do what I want to be every day. And so we begin to get very clear on this is know ourselves, might know myself. What does freedom mean to me? Like I said this, I think it was on the podcast. I definitely said this the other day. Like, I've created a life of freedom in that there's nowhere I have to be apart from to pick the kids up at 3 o'clock from school. I have to be there, I have to drop them off. But that's it. Like, there's nowhere else. Like, everything else, I create my own schedule completely, right? Freedom. But it's not freedom if I spend the whole day going, right, what am I going to do? What am I going to do right now? Where do I need to be? Am I gonna go to yoga today? Am I gonna do my thing today? What am I gonna eat? Then what time am I gonna eat? And then I'm gonna go for like, and I'm literally making decisions all the time, every day. Like, that's just overwhelm. That's not freedom. And I've created freedom. So we get rid, so part of that is, oh, I've got freedom. I could watch TV all day if I wanted to. Well, you could, but again, that's not giving me that fuel, that motivation, right? And so we start to get really clear. What does freedom mean to me? How do I express that? Like, freedom for me is knowing at 10:30 I can go to my yoga class, whatever I want to do, like whatever else I'm doing, I can do that. But while I'm in there, I'm listening to the teacher and I'm doing all of the things, right? So it's creating this new navigation system, my own business that flows easy for me and my body. I'd have a platform to talk and inspire, travel and have these conversations. 10K a month. Yes, I'm still teaching. I want to drop teaching hours and work more on spirituality. So again, like, like the 10K months is not going to come from the teaching, because that's not where your soul is leading you to, right? We start to get really clear, and then we're like, well, if I really believed in myself, what would I be doing? And your soul will guide you. And you know what? It's rarely like just chuck it all in and we can do it. That's usually the human brain. Sometimes it is. But again, we just get good at this. Angie, you have a platform to speak and inspire, right? A dream like this doesn't come from ego. It doesn't. And so if you've got a dream like this, it's your dream for a reason. One of my clients, she's somebody that I've been working with one-to-one this year. She had a massive health scare. She's still in hospital. And like she was put on palliative care, right? This was a few months ago. And before that, while I've been speaking to her, and mentoring her, like the vision that she always got, the future vision that she always got, was that she'd be on stage all the time. She kept getting this vision, I'm going to be on stage. But from where she was, she's like, I can't see how that would happen. Like it's impossible, right? Anyway, so we'd been working on it. She developed her membership, she develops her platform, she's doing all of these things, and like this is something that's in the future, could never see it. And then she got really sick. She got told days, weeks, maybe to live. And I was like, this vision that you had of you being on stage was given to you for a reason. And she was really like anchoring into that during her time in hospital. Like, what if what's happening with you here is a stepping stone into you being on stage? Like, can you imagine if you get through this, the story that you'll have? You know, like Anita Morjani. Anyone know Anita Morjani? She's coming to London in October. That's what she does. Anyway, I'm pleased to report that my friend, is now looking to be coming home at Christmas. She has like had a miraculous recovery, and you know, it's been a journey for sure. But guess what? She's like, I'm gonna go on stage and I'm gonna be telling people exactly this. Exactly this. And so her dream became her motivation. Her dream became the thing, the future that's pulling her, rather than what the doctors told her, which was, there's not much chance here. It's your dream for a reason. So what are we doing every day? Don't go into palliative care, please, just to get there, right? And we move forward. We trust, we believe that this is where I want to be. I've assumed that what my business is doing would allow us to afford living in California, as it's so expensive to live there. Maybe, or maybe that California is the place that you're drawn to because that's where your work is needed. Like I don't know, right? We don't know. But then our soul again will give us that. We don't need to logicalize our way out of it. We go, we move, we take a step. What now? What now? What now? And we start to ask ourselves, because we know our future's being arranged at every moment. I do believe we are co-creating our future in every single moment. And we're either creating it from the part of us that's scared and the part of us that doubts ourselves, or we're creating it from the part of us that knows, the part of us that's wise, the part of us that knows I'm destined to be on stage because I've got a message that somebody needs to hear. So what are you these next 9 years? What part of you is going to lead you forward? 1, my fear. 2, my soul. Predominantly. Put it in, please. Okay. Well, then my work is done. That's it. You're done. Cooked. This, for me, is why I created Soul Space as my membership, because I know how simple it is, but also how hard it is. Because for me, like one of my gifts, one of my God's gifts is that I hold people to their highest potential. And I'm very annoying like that. But I will hold you to your highest potential, and your soul will keep on speaking, and your soul will keep on leading and guiding the way. And your human is going to keep on coming in and having its opinion. And for me, I respect that, and I know how important it is to honor that and to work with it, so that our system doesn't become overwhelmed, so that we don't find ourselves sabotaging all the time. And so soul space came in because this is where we can sit and be, so that our soul can lead us, so that we can learn to differentiate between our gut and our soul, so we can learn to differentiate between where our safety wants to take us and where our soul wants to bring you forward. It's where your practice becomes embodied and stabilized and not just conceptual. It's not just a case, like when I asked you that question earlier, like, what did your soul say? And everyone gave me an answer that came from their brain, because you think that's probably what my soul would tell you. It's different when we're in a space, when we're constantly there, and when we've invested in something that says, no, like soul space is where I am. Like soul space is what's important for me, because I'm tired of living a life that's just led by what my brain keeps telling me to do and what my body keeps telling me what to do. It's not a space for spiritual entertainment, although you probably will be entertained spiritually quite a lot because I'm hilarious. But it's a space for embodiment. It's a space where we become. And whilst there's a lot of information in there, there are hundreds of hours of classes and teachings on how to work with different concepts, on the psycho-spiritual aspects, on how to work, for example, with angelics, with cards as the card mastery, how to channel, like all of these aspects which are going to help you, how to work with your guides, how to bring your guides online, all of these things. For me, this is a bonus. What Soul Space is about is having us side by side where we can walk this path. When life gets sticky, you can bring it and you can go, Melissa, life is sticky, help me. Or I've got this going on, how do I move forward? Or there's this block going in and we can move through and smash through it. It's a space where soul's always going to come first, and so we can let that reorganize ourselves. And it's a space where, I mean, I'm there a lot. Twice a month we'll come and we will get together, and you'll either have, well, every month we have our coaching calls or our evolution calls, where it really is that one-to-one time with you and me. And every month we will be doing a channeling or an activation or a teaching, so that you can keep on growing, so you can keep on like dipping your cognitive brain into, I want to know more, I want to bring more, I want to activate more. And when I'm not around, like the ladies said in the round table, you've got hundreds of hours of things that can keep you occupied, where you can learn about the Akashic records, or you can do one of the incredible portal meditations where you can activate your energy body. For me, as we move into 2026 in soul space, it's about really you understanding that your intuition is your biggest superpower, and that when it's truly aligned and it's truly there, it's going to lead you into a life beyond. Because I think my job, or part of my job, is to really help people who are conscious and who are awakening actually ground their spiritual practice into their actions every single day, so that you can move on and you can create incredible things. If that incredible thing includes running a business, I have just introduced a new tier. I'm very excited about this, where I'll be doing VIP intensives with you 4 times a year. So that we'll have everything that we're doing in soul space. We get the additional calls every month, and we can work personally together to like really get you focused on what you're going to be doing for the next 3 months. I'm super excited about this, and we'll work with that either on Telegram if you prefer that kind of dynamic, or we'll do an intensive over Zoom every quarter. I believe that's why I started to get into the business space as I have. Also, I don't think I would have ever met you. Yeah. Definitely working more from my gut. For me, this is soul space, is the space where we can go and you can really get the most of the hundreds of thousands of pounds and hours that I have learned and spent on my spiritual practice and on my psycho spiritual practice. And I'll be bringing this all to you. the members, some of the members came on and did a chat the other day. If you want a copy of that, please do let me know. Has anyone watched it in here, my amazing members? This is what it's like in there. Thank you, Stacia. This is what it's like in there. So for the next week, my diary's open if you want to have a chat. Otherwise, you can join using this link. 1 minute. What I'm also going to do, if you pay for the year, I'm going to put on an additional bonus for the next 24 hours from when this recording goes out. So if you're watching this on the recording, if you watched it within 24 hours of when the inbox lands, anyone who pays in full for the next 12 months, I'm going to do a one-to-one session with you live on Zoom, just me and you, as like an intro call. We'll do it probably sometime in January, February, and it will give you that real kickstart. So that's available for anyone. Just message me once you've applied, and that will be for the first 3 people that pay in full for the next 3 months, and that's whether it's the regular soul space or the VIP. Okay, so that's available for you. Any questions, pop them in the chat. But this is a way of working with me for less than £100 a month. Amazing. And if you're interested in my one-to-one mentorship, let me know, because I've got a space that will be opening from February. Okay, that's it. That's my pitch. But for now, for the next 10 minutes, I want you to meet your future self, the future aligned destined self. That feel good? Give me a 1 in the chat if you want to do that. If not, then we can close the door. Okay, 11:11. Okay, let me record this as well, and we can pop it on the dashboard. Okay, we ready? I just want to invite you to get yourself settled and comfortable. So just find yourself where you are in the space, and I just want you to place your hands anywhere that feels grounding and comfortable. Grounded and comfortable. And just take 3 nice breaths into your body. They don't have to be a change of breath, just something that feels nice and solid. Maybe you just want to give a nice sigh as you breathe out and just let everything get settled in. I just want you to begin to scan down through the body and just notice where your consciousness lives. So just notice where that point is in your being, in your body, that just feels like it's the center of your consciousness. It might be in your brain, it might be somewhere at the higher body, it might be in the solar plexus. And for some of us, it might actually be outside of the body. So it might feel like it's somewhere in our energy field. There's no right or wrong here, but just noticing where you feel, where you're drawn, that center of your consciousness. You know what? You're going to take your spiritual hands, and I'm going to invite you to bring that as if you're moving it right there into the center of your heart. So wherever it is, just imagine that your spiritual hands are moving that center of consciousness into the center of the heart. And as you allow that to come into that space, maybe an affirmation or a confirmation that you're connected to the heavens and the earth, that you're aligned to your highest wisdom and your highest path, that your head and your gut are in alignment, in coherence with the heart in the center. That the mind, the body, and the soul are all there in one inner agreement. And as you just let those aspects of you line up, I want you to imagine that there's this beautiful golden thread that moves from behind you for miles and miles behind you, moving through all of the path that you've taken, both through this life and in lives beyond. The situations and the places that you've been and the people that you've met, the experiences that you've had, the beliefs that have shaped you. And this golden thread is weaving its way all the way through into the center of your heart, into now, into this moment. And your soul, your highest self, your soul that can always lead you into your highest evolution. Just imagine in any way you know how that version, that aspect of you is moving down through the crown, into the body, into the being, and all the way into that heart space. Thank you to my highest wisdom for being here with me now. Thank you for guiding me and for helping me see the way. And as you say or repeat or even just think these words, this golden thread that moves through the heart starts to lay out in front of you, traveling for miles and miles ahead, weaving and taking you on this highest path, this highest evolution. And you can just let it move with your soul in charge and your past informing it. And we're going to invite your consciousness, which sits there in the center of the heart, to move down through this golden thread. And it's going to come to a stop somewhere. It's going to come to a stop, to a place, a time, a circumstance, an experience that you were meant to know about today. That's going to guide you into your highest evolution, your highest path. And as you travel down this golden thread, you're going to come to this stop and you're going to see, feel, know who you are in this future time. Notice what you're doing, who's around you. Notice what is close and what is far away. Notice how you speak and what you're saying. Notice how people speak with you, how they act with you, how they respond to you, what they ask of you. Notice how your inner world is, how you feel. Notice what you believe. Notice how your body feels. Notice even where your voice is coming from. Notice how your decisions are made. Notice what's different about you. And notice what's still the same. And as you're really with this version of you, just ask yourself what got you here? What got me here? This point. Decision, choice, strategy, experience, belief. And wherever you are, know that that isn't the end. Perhaps you're aware that that golden thread continues your evolution and your growth. And this is simply a holding spot, a place in the path, a future memory that's been given to you by your evolution team. And so, if this is a version of you that you wish to actualize, if you're with this version of you and you think, yes, yes, this is who I know myself to be, this is who I allow myself to grow into, just be in there and say, yes, I accept you. And invite for the memories and the codings and the alignment and the frequencies to be downloaded into your being now. So imagine that you're pulling the thread all the way back to you, and this version of you is landing in your body in the here and now in this very moment. And that every single cell starts to activate with the memory of who you are becoming. It happens in a moment. Breathe into that and just feel any changes that it's made in the body. And then just ask, what do I need to know now? What do I need to know right now? This future self is already living the life that you're craving. And now this life becomes yours. If you accept it, say it out loud if you can, or in your mind if you can't. Come into an inner agreement between you and this version of you, so that your choices become inevitable, so that your soul leads the way, and so that life becomes you. And then when you're ready, just allow for yourself to come back into this space, into this time, into this now, knowing that this future version of you will guide you from this day on. Pop in the chat what you learned. I pulled a card. You got a powerful move. You got the disco ball with all of its many fragments on there, and then the chess piece there at the top. What powerful move are you making? What do you let yourself become? Okay, I felt no answers except peace, which I interpret as I'm on the right path to become a healthier, to become my higher, better, healthy, abundant 10x self. And here's the thing, right? That we often, when we're wanting to improve, we're like, oh, 2x, oh, 10x, or 100x. The truth for me is that these timelines all exist, and it's a case of which ones are we aligning to. And no more, I say, do we align to the small self, to the smaller self, to the restricted self, because whose life are we living then? Your soul will not lead you wrong. Our job really becomes this knowing of what is my soul and what is not. That's the first step. And then comes the whole renegotiation of what we do with that and how we work with that, and the best ways that we find. Like, I love a card. um I love working my angelics. I love working with my guidance team. I love meditation practices. I love just talking about it and seeing what is and what comes through. It's finding that those practices that can keep us moving forward. um I let myself become a confident creative person. Angie, that confident creative person is within you. She's not someone separate. She's there. She's just not been allowed out because the smaller self was so ingrained. Those neural pathways are so ingrained. But that turmoil, that thing that keeps you, is because it's like, no, there's more. Stop it, stop it. And so we start to contract and we get really uncomfortable. And then we're like, oh, why am I so uncomfortable? Like, you're meant to be, because if you stay comfortable, you'll never do these amazing things. Yeah. At first I hit a stop sign and felt nervous, and I turned the corner and felt free to become the teacher and creator I meant to be. Okay, this is normal. We hit the stop sign. We wonder what's going on. What am I moving into? Wow, I'm not sure where I was, but I was with my business team laughing and being happy. I'm healthier. This is the real me and who I want to become. My soul told me our path is now set. I felt warm and tingly when it came back. It's amazing, right? So we keep walking, we keep trusting. We know it's there. We keep taking action. And it sometimes our brain will tell us it's working out, and sometimes our brain will tell us it's not. When we have this belief cultivated in us, the universe is always working out for us. My soul will never lead me wrong. I'm keeping on moving in the direction of our dreams. Like, it just completely changes the way that we show up in life. We stop second guessing ourselves. We stop having to make 1,000 decisions every day. These things still come up, but they stop being the stop sign. They become the red light for a minute, the pause for a minute. It changes how we show up. I feel the jigsaw is being put together, missing parts falling into place. Amazing. I didn't really understand what I saw. I was standing behind a table with a big globe. Amazing. I felt confident. There weren't many people around. What did I just do with that card? This is the big globe. The card I pulled. It's the world. You're welcome, Elena. I felt so at ease with change. And that's the key. That is the key. I know I keep banging on about living a soul-led life, but the human doesn't want change. The soul wants change. And so we need to recalibrate. We need to be like, okay, this is good. We need to be able to sort our nervous system out enough so it's not like, oh, well, how do I just soothe myself? Like, that's not what we're here for, just to soothe ourselves. We're here for the adventure. We're here for the growth. We're here for the evolution. And we bring our nervous system along with us. We bring our mind along with us. We bring our practices along with us. I love a practice. We activate our energy. We bring everything forward. We become this soul-led human, which sounds so easy, and it's not normal. It's not what we see in normal life. In soul space, this is normal. In soul space, this is the place where this happens and it becomes. This is the place I keep reminding you of. The amount of times in the coaching calls, someone come with a wobble of, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure how I can do it, and what's this? And simply it comes back to a reminder of this. And, the group is small enough and personal enough that you don't have to keep on re-explaining yourself to me about, what, like, maybe you saw it in the chat with the women the other day. I know my members. We keep on moving forward. We keep on growing, and I will keep on holding you at that highest level. I will incessantly keep holding you there until you become, or we pivot, because sometimes that happens too. We get clearer. We bring a new practice in, maybe, but I'm going to keep on holding you there. And then when you're here, oh, we're going to keep on moving. We're going to keep on growing. Okay. I would love, before we close, just one thing that you've learned, your biggest aha moment this week. Pop it in the chat. I'm just going to make sure I didn't miss anything. So I did write notes today. You're welcome. One thing you learned, your biggest aha moment. Decisions versus choosing. Yeah. The answers are there. Should we just ask? Should we ask and then listen? I'm clear in my mind now. I'm choosing to be me. We only need to ask for help, and we're guided and supported. You're never alone. You're never alone. We sometimes need reminding of this. Our spirit also can't do this on their own. They need us. And that's part of our job, to keep bringing this down. If they were on their own, they wouldn't materialize. They need us. They need our help. If our soul leads, we'll be able to choose where we go and what the next step is. Exactly. You are always, humans have this incredible thing called free will. I think part of our job is to direct our free will into evolution and growth rather than into small safety. Okay. Soul Space is open. It's open for another week. As I said, anyone who joins it with a 12-month and pays for the 12 months up front will get, until 24 hours time, we'll get a one-to-one call with me. We can jam, or a Telegram morning if you'd prefer. We have on Wednesday our closing of the year call. So if you join before then, you will be part live of the closing of the year call. And I have got 2 additional bonuses of 2 Akashic Records workshops, which will be available once you sign up for instant download, that sits outside of your library. Remember, you have got a ton that actually there's all of the solstice activations in there as well, so you'll be in the perfect time for that, and a couple of closing and opening of the year practices. So now is a great time to join, because then over the Christmas period you can satisfy your cognitive mind as well as your energetic mind. The Telegram group will stay open for at least another week until I'm off to Thailand. I won't be taking the stuff away. If you want to go and rewatch this, it will be available on YouTube as well. Recommend that you listen to the podcast. I've kept it aligned with what we've been doing. So if you haven't yet, listen to this week's episode. Until then, Soul Space is open. My diary is open. My inbox is open if you want to chat to me about it. And until then, remember, your future is being organized by your soul as we speak. It's up to you whether you choose to let it grow you. I will see you all very soon. Lots of love.